Besides that, I'm not tripping.
My wife is not a bad bitch. She's an amazing, powerful, forceful woman.
Absolutely.
And let's go back to when we weren't the one. Like when how did you deal with that realization, or when did it hit you that I'm not the one?
You know, especially in the last situation, which was, I mean, shit. I'm not sure if I can consider that a open wound. Well, you know, I can't consider it an open wound at this point. But at one point,
it's scar tissue.
Yeah, exactly. It's surely scar tissue at some point. Mm-hmm. But like from looking at it, it's like I realize it when I find myself not being myself while knowing myself. Hmm. And I say that from the perspective of everybody that around me knows who I am. Everybody that has dealt with me on an intimate level knows who I am. When I start altering my daily behavior or who I consider myself to be, I know I'm not the one. And I say that from the perspective of I shouldn't have to change myself for nobody. All right? So when you start altering who you know you are, there's a sign that something's wrong to begin with. But the way that I dealt with it was, at first I didn't deal with it very well, honestly. Like at first I was like, the fuck? The fuck? Like, here's a person that, one, held me down. Two, gave me the impression that I was the one. And then later let me know that I wasn't the one. Or at least not the one at that time. And I'm like, all right, so how do I deal with that? And what you have to do is you have to own it. And let me clear up some shit on that too, because a lot of people like to say, especially women, like people like to say, that's your loss. All right. Now there are situations where you just don't actually measure up. I don't know if that was the case with me or not. But if I didn't measure up, so be it. That means that I did not meet the expectations that somebody else hold for who they want to be with. And if that was the case, then that's fine. But if that wasn't the case, then yeah, maybe you could say that, all right, that's their loss. But I never default to that statement simply because I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So how I dealt with it was, first of all, I owned it. Luckily, I had some real people around me to keep me accountable. One of them sitting here present. You know what I'm saying? Like one night while we was out, although I had already thought it through, I had bounced all my thoughts off both of these individuals, and both of them said the same thing. You know what? That's not what we do. That's not who we are. Fuck that shit. Fuck her. Own it and move on. Now, I think that's important. Very, very important for one reason. Who you surround yourself with can make you or break you. Because I'm not sure I would have dealt with it the same way had I not had people around me to remind me of who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure I would have been like, all right, this is what it is, you know what, fuck it, move on. But me personally, that's how I dealt with it. I dealt with it on my own. I processed it. I got through it. And then I had people around me to reconfirm that, look, this is who you are. You tripping. you are tripping. And
so I think you hit on two important components to, understanding when you're not the one. One, there's a very large amount of self-delusion when you're feeling that, this person cares about me, but I just need to be more of this or more of that. I need to be more open to what they're saying. I need to be more compassionate. I need to be more giving. And that's just not how fruitful relationships work. It needs to be reciprocated. It needs to be, you feel like you're getting stuff back in terms of emotional stability, compassion, care. And there's also, who are your friends? What are your friends saying to you? Are your friends a lot of single women or single men who are jaded or cynical and just want you to join them in misery and being alone? Or are they people who are generally looking out for your well-being? And you can only really know that by watching their moves, watching how consistent they are on their actions and their words. because like you talked earlier about when it wasn't working for you and how me and our other friend was looking at you and like, this isn't who you are.
Yeah.
This isn't what it's supposed to be. This is contradictory to your character, to what your goals are, or to what you want to achieve. It's very important that your friends understand your dreams, understand your goals, back you in what you want to accomplish, and there's also a level of consistency in things that you both share, whether it's fruitful relationships, strong friendships, love, and compassion.
Yeah, but I mean, man, I say it all the time. I'm lucky when it comes to my friends. I'm lucky when it comes to my family. I'm lucky when it comes to shit, even my son's mother. Like everybody, no matter what I do, good or bad, I gotta own it. And I was just talking about that earlier in terms of accomplishment. Like as far as how my friends go, like if I talk to them about a situation that I'm not the one, they will also reconfirm that I'm not the one. If I talk to them about a situation and maybe there was something up with the other person, they'll tell me, you know what, that ain't you, that's not them. But it goes both ways. And why I say that in terms of accomplishment, because we was just sitting around here talking about it earlier. Like, if they say they're proud of me, now I know they're proud of me. If I haven't done shit, they'll tell me I ain't done shit. I mean, that's just how it is. But
there's a myth that men don't share those thoughts and feelings with each other.
When we actually do it all the time.
Yeah. There's the idea that, you don't talk to your friends about how you feel about a girl, how do you feel about where you are in life. We're all not that different.
Yeah, and it's funny to even say, because I love, that's a wonderful thing, actually. In fact, that's quite a wonderful segue with my son sitting here, because the one thing that I've never told my son is be a man, all right? Because, I mean, my son is, at this moment, he's 10 years old. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, he don't need to know nothing about, he doesn't need to fathom, he doesn't need to understand or worry about what it means to be a man.
And what does being a man really mean, depending on who you're asking?
Honestly, and I hate to even say it, like saying be a man doesn't hold the same value that it did maybe 2 decades ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago, being a man is totally different than being a man today.
Two decades ago, and it's sad to say that, because I feel like we're men raised by men, and the reason I say that is because men back then knew how to own whatever happened to them. Men got into a fight and they got their ass whooped. They owned it.
You took it.
Yeah, you didn't go and get a gun. If a man wasn't the one and he was in an emotional situation, like he could express it to a certain extent. Yeah, he still had to be quote unquote hard, but there's no such thing like
can't be hard 24/7.
Yeah, there's no reason to put on a facade or doing anything else. Maybe the people outside of your circle who don't necessarily need to know, but like you got to be able to be exposed to the people that are closer to you. So like if I'm sitting in front of Rich, I'm completely exposed, because I can tell Rich whatever's going on. If I'm talking to my mother, if I'm talking to my brother, if I'm talking to my homie Trey, like whoever I'm talking to, I am transparent, because these are people who understand me as a human being. They understand how I think. They understand what I'm doing and or not doing. And if I'm not doing something that I need to be doing, there are the people that'll tell me you're full of shit, and you need to be doing it.
So for me, so I think, let me correct me if I'm wrong, but like for relationships that are fulfilling, and long-term based, like there needs to be a level of vulnerability that you have to be able to reveal to people that you care about, and also a level of vulnerability that you should expect from people that you're really close to. In order for you two to build, like in order for those trust to be built, and in loyalty.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. Because honestly, I follow an exact MO. So like when I meet people, the first thing I'm interested in is their intentions and expectations. Most people will say something like, my intention is to get to know you, or my intention is, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. That's fine. But the thing is, to understand what someone's mind is key to understanding what their intentions are. All right? Now, I can be honest and loyal with anyone. what people tend to look for, especially when they get exactly what you are up front. And this plays back into not knowing when you're the one. If you are completely and honestly and transparently who you are up front, people can determine very early on if you are or are not the one for them.
Yes, and when did you start? There's a question for you. Like, when did you make the decision to be that person? Because for me, it was a very drastic change to the point where I was trying to be the nicest guy I could be, try to be more warm and welcoming, and then a switch hit, and I'm like, fuck this shit, because I got nothing out of it, and these bitches weren't worth the effort.
And it's really a double-edged sword, man, because I look at it like this. Like, I don't think I truly figured that out until I went to the military. And here's why I say that. All right, so those who don't know, I've been married at one point. Me and my ex-wife are cool. The marriage, I won't get into because it wasn't, let me say it wasn't formal per se. But anyway, like we met in high school. We dated most of high school. We knew each other, and we never had any issues with how we were. But the reason I bring that up is because from dating her, which we dated for like 3 to 4 years, was married for about a year and a half. I met somebody before her who I dated about 3 years. I met my son's mother after her, who I dated for like a year plus, and then we had our son, so we was together on and off for about 2 years. So more or less the story is I gave a decade of my life up to about 3 females. Okay, and at some point you have to realize that like everybody know, whether you want to admit it or not, you know when somebody is for you or it's not for you. The thing is that everybody tries to spare each other's feelings. Why, I don't know.
Yeah.
Me, I became a person where I was like, look, this is what it is, this is what it is not. And if you're not meant for me, or if you're not what I'm looking for, then we can move on. It's not a big of a deal. I don't take offense to it, whether it go either way. So, like, honestly, me, I became that person, I would say exactly about, I'd say about 2008. Man, that's even funnier that I even say that. So about 2008, because I was still, off and on with my son's mother. He was still young. He was born in October 2007. I met this female from North Carolina who was clutch, but I had my son. I had my son's mother, who I was still, I was responsible for. I'm a Southern man, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take care of these people. I'm in Iraq for just shy of about 2 years. Me and this female became close. I had just came out of a serious relationship that scorned me, and that was not what I was expecting to happen, right? So somewhere around that time, I became the person where I was like, this is what it is, this wasn't it. And I can't even say back then, especially with the female from North Carolina, that wasn't necessarily the right place to be or the right person to be with. What I can say is I wasn't ready. Not because something was wrong, but because I was afraid. All right, so non-attribution. All right, non-attribution. This is fully exposed. Like I wasn't ready at that time. So I became a person where, at that moment, understanding I had been in Iraq 18 months and I had faced everything you could possibly face, including death. I was like, all right, time is priceless. Time cannot be wasted. And if I'm not ready now, it's not necessarily true that I'm going to be ready in the future, and I can't bank on myself being ready in the future, so it became what it became. All right? Is that right or wrong? I don't know if I can necessarily say, but I know for a fact that's when I became the person where I was like, all right, this is where I need to cease and desist the bullshit, cease and desist the bullshit, and understand that, I need to be completely transparent and honest with people as far as my intentions, what I expect, and what I intend to obtain from them. And that's when shit changed. But, that's just for me. How about for you?
The biggest obstacle to a happy life and love is that we're all human.